me tell you two stories about my watch here. Now, nothing really fancy about this watch, but as you'll be able to see, it's a combination analog and digital watch. And the first story is this. The first story deals with how this watch was created. Now, there was a project director from Japan. His name was Nomo, and he started several years ago with a team of engineers that created detailed engineering drawings for every little component in this watch. Calculations obviously had to be made to size all of the different gears that created the analog mechanism, to calibrate the timing mechanisms, and to create the integrated circuits for the part of the digital display. But in the end, what did they have? Well, really what they had was just an attractive ornament. It wasn't really a timepiece yet. And in fact, it didn't serve any purpose until somebody wound the watch up. Then it became a timepiece. Now I'm going to tell you story number 2 about how this watch evolved. You see, billions of years ago, the Earth was really much more favorable to manufacturing than it is today. There was a sea of ooze that surrounded the Earth, and the sea of ooze just happened to have all the right little elements in it that were needed for this watch. It had little teeny pieces of metal, and it had little teeny pieces of the silica that would eventually make the crystal, and little bitty pieces of paint that were all floating around in this ooze. And there was volcanic heat at the time, and over a process of a real long period of time, this volcanic heat made these particles of metal bond together. And as they continued to tumble in this ooze over billions and billions of years, a few of these pieces of metal started to form these highly precision gears, and it was very fortunate that they just happened to be exactly the right size necessary to create a timepiece. Then you had really kind of an incredibly beautiful little ornament. It just lacked one problem. It still needed somebody to wind it. Now, which of those two stories do you believe? The idea of evolution of a watch seems absurd. At least I would hope so. A single living cell is so vastly more intricate than this simple little timepiece. So much more complex than a simple watch. It's beyond comprehension. Just think about a few things. Watches don't reproduce. They don't diagnose themselves or heal themselves. They don't think. They don't create. The list goes on and on and on. So why do we laugh at some story of a evolved watch and teach evolution of a far more complex living cell? Do you know that the human cell is far more complex than the most advanced manufacturing facility in the world?